You remember my next guest, Jack Phillips. He's that Colorado baker whose case went all the way to the Supreme Court after he refused to make a wedding cake for a gay couple back in 2012. He said it would have violated his First Amendment rights to religious liberty, his Christian faith. He won on that narrow ground, but he's now back in court fighting a different battle, but it's related, after refusing to make a transgender birthday cake. Yes, apparently those exist. Lawyer Autumn Scardina wanted a pink cake with blue frosting to celebrate the transition from male to female. The Colorado Court of Appeals last week ruled that Phillips' refusal to make Scardina's cake did not constitute free speech and that it was illegal to refuse services to someone based on sexual orientation. Jack Phillips, owner of Masterpiece Cake Shop, joins me now, along with Aaron Hawley, senior counsel at Alliance Defending Freedom. Jack, your reaction now, more than a decade after you first tangled with the radicals on this, about this ruling and your next steps.
Well, first of all, I just want to make it clear that at Masterpiece Cake Shop, we serve everybody who comes into our shop, but we can't create every cake that people ask us to create because of the messages that those cakes might express. They're custom artwork. And this attorney, Autumn Scardina, called us up the day that the court announced that they were going to take our case, the U.S. Supreme Court, back in 2017, and asked for the cake that you described, a cake that was pink on the inside and blue on the outside, and told us that those colors were symbolic of changing from a male to a female. And at that point, that cake became a message, and we told Scardina that this was a message that we couldn't express with our custom art, and we would be glad to serve this attorney anything else in our shop, make other custom work, but we couldn't create this one. So that wasn't good enough. The attorney went to the Colorado Civil Rights Commission and filed a complaint, and they filed charges against me and sued me right after the Supreme Court had reprimanded the Civil Rights Commission for their impermissible hostility the first go-around when they compared my beliefs to slavery and the Holocaust, calling
well, you're being targeted,
freedom.
Aaron. I'm a lawyer. You're being targeted. They think you're a threat. You're a bigger threat than Al Qaeda or any criminal cartel. You are the threat, they think. So the trial court, Aaron, found that Scardina called with actual intent to purchase the cake, and then the court determined that it wasn't a setup to initiate litigation. Just happens to be the same baker. I mean, your reaction to that? I mean, it was requested right on the same day that the Supreme Court announced it would hear Jack's original wedding cake case back in 2017. It was kind of an anniversary deal. I mean, it doesn't pass the straight face test here.
No, that seems like a bit of a stretch. And really, Laura, there's so much wrong with the Court of Appeals decision here. If you look at this case, it fits squarely within the contours of 303 Creative, another free speech case out of Colorado that shows the extreme measures Colorado is going to suppress and coerce artists like Jack, like Lori Smith, to speak. And until the Supreme Court is clear that all artists, whether it's a mom on Etsy who's trying to make a little more money, whether it's Jack Phillips who's designing beautiful cakes, or Lori Smith who's creating custom websites, all artists should be free to express what they believe, and government should not be allowed to coerce them into saying something that's contrary to those beliefs.
Well, Jack, a few months later, there was another cake that this Scardina character requested that you make, which you also refused. What was that?
Well, the cake in question this time was a cake with depicting Satan smoking marijuana. And Scardina has admitted in court that these cakes were to correct the errors of my thinking. And it was a setup, and it was intentional, and it was staged in a specific way. And Scardina also swore under oath that if I win this case or if it's dismissed, the very next day I would get another phone call with another cake, and we would start all over again. And the court seemed to ignore that or not hear that part.
Aaron, the bottom line here, beyond this particular case, in my view, is that the left wants to drive Christians out of the public square at all. I'm like, you don't even have a right to have a small business if you're a Christian today. You certainly don't have any conscience rights. You have no religious liberty rights. You have no First Amendment rights if you clash with what they believe to be the supremely protected among us. Do you feel that that's where we're headed here?
I think that's definitely a danger here. A win for Lori is a win for everyone because it protects everyone's rights to free speech, like Mr. Phillips here.
Jack and Aaron, we're going to be following this as usual. Thank you both.